Today we're at Petersburg, at some Union entrenchments just outside the city. So while the 54th Pennsylvania were not in these actual entrenchments, the area that they held is no longer part of the Park Service. There's no trenches there. This is a recreation of trench works that the 54th would have occupied. Following the Battle of Cedar Creek, the 54th Pennsylvania stayed in the Shenandoah Valley until late December. The regiment rode a train to Washington, D.C., where they boarded transports to sail to join the Army of the James at Deep Bottom, just 7 miles from Richmond. General E.O.C. Ord assigned the 54th Pennsylvania, along with the rest of the Army of West Virginia, to the 24th Corps' Independent Division. The 54th Pennsylvania spent time occupying different portions of the works in front of the Confederate capital until orders from General Ulysses Grant called the Army of the James to Petersburg, 40 miles away. Rain turned the roads into rivers of knee-deep mud, but by early evening on March 29th, Major General John Gibbon's 24th Corps arrived at their designated position. Shortly after halting, the 54th Pennsylvania strengthened the entrenchments. The men worked through the night, building breastworks of rails and loose stones, digging and throwing up the earth with our bayonets and dinner plates, for want of better entrenching tools. General Grant ordered the Army of the James to probe the Confederate works to their front and exploit any hole they made. General Turner's division pushed closer to the Confederate works and dug in as best they could in the sloppy, muddy quagmire. First Sergeant George Steinman wrote, "We skirmished 3 successive days and nights with the enemy, gaining step by step." Sergeant Marshall Van Scoten, recalling one skirmish, wrote a portion of the regiment was thrown out as skirmishers, and after advancing a short distance, drove the rebel skirmishers across Hatch's Run. The stream being very crooked here, we crossed over in order to keep the division's front, which position brought the Unionists in front of one of the forts of the Confederacy. And the fort would have looked something very similar to this reconstructed battery that is also here at Petersburg. The skirmish line advanced on this position, crawling on their hands and knees, driving the skirmishers back in their rifle pits, and then working themselves to within 100 yards of the fort, literally silenced the rebel artillery. On March 31st, Confederate artillery opened fire on General Turner's division. Confederate infantry tried to break through the line, but the Federals stopped them short. The next day, they tried again. Confederates drove in the picket line, but did not seriously threaten the main Federal line. Sergeant Steinman recalled, "Before daylight, the enemy made a desperate charge on our part of the line, but were so handsomely worsted that they made no second attempt. General Ord ordered a counterattack, and his men drove the Confederates back to their lines and established the Federal line within 400 yards of the rebel works." The rain continued through the end of March, but on April 1st, General Grant ordered an assault along the entire line for 4 a.m. the next day. Throughout the night, anxious men prepared for the morning assault. Thank you for watching this episode of In the Footsteps of the 54th.